Good evening, everybody, and happy Friday. And it is December now, but please note that it is not yet Christmas. Okay, there's no excuse for any Christmas music just yet, just in my humble opinion. Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. I shouldn't be here. I'm the least talented person in this room. Anyone can do it. It was nothing, really. I can't do this. I'm not clever enough. I'll never be able to do it. I'm going to get found out. Ever say any of these to yourself? If you have, then you're probably suffering from impostor syndrome. Yes, the concept of impostor syndrome, which from now on I'll refer to as IS for short, was originally presented in 1978 by doctors Pauline Clance and Suzanne A. Imes, who were clinical psychologists studying the behaviors and attitudes of high achieving women. Their research uncovered that most of their subjects felt that they would be discovered as fakes, even though there was plenty of evidence to the contrary. Many of them believed that any success they'd achieved was through sheer fluke, luck, timing, or a result of tricking others into being convinced of their intelligence or know-how. And when they extended, when these two doctors, these clinical psychologists, extended their research to men, they found out that the men felt pretty much the same way. In fact, 70%, that's 70% of all people have felt that way at some time in their careers. And 40% of successful people consider themselves frauds. Now, having outrageously high expectations and falling short of them can seriously harm your well-being. And what this also means is that even when you are achieving something, you still can't accept it as a win. When an actor is on set and a scene wraps, the crew moves on to focus on the next one on the list, and you disappear from sight and you're out of mind. This creates a kind of vacuum in which, as acting coach Daniel Dresner puts it, your inner saboteur can befriend your imposter. They get together to plan your demise. This plan includes driving you to work harder and push faster, never slowing down, because if you do, you'll be found out. This can lead to over-preparation, stressing over detail, and striving for unattainable perfection, which I'll talk about next Friday. And as once happened to me, burnout. Side effects of IS include the following. Turns off heater. Diminished confidence. Telling people what you think they want to hear rather than being true to your own creativity. And when praise comes, not accepting it to be based on reality, ability, or truth. Now, if IS is not addressed, then it's likely to result in anxiety, stress, low self-confidence, self-doubt, shame, and/or depression. Now, this is especially true for actors who spend hours alone prepping for roles, which, if called back, will put them in the spotlight of intense scrutiny for a brief moment. And when whether you're recording a self-tape or whether it's actually in person, which there aren't very many of those in-person auditions at the moment, but you'll remember them. Every pause, every false start, every crack of the voice will become amplified and send you into a tailspin of insecurity, confirming everything your imposter has been telling you and blocking you from living in the moment and truly getting to explore your character and their experiences. Now, you're probably discovering this as you're playing back your recorded self-tapes and trying to work out which one to edit if you haven't deleted your best take already. And so this brings me to the question, of course, like, how can you resolve this? What can you do about it? Well, just like the saboteur that I spoke about last week, dealing with the imposter is very similar. Anyway, just realizing that you're in great company for a start might help. For example, some other people, such as, let's see, Myra Sorvino, Meryl Streep, Matt Damon, Renee Zellweger, Emma Watson, Don Cheadle, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Kate Winslet. All of these people have experienced imposter syndrome. All of them have admitted to having suffered the same IS. Okay? So, you know what? You're definitely not alone. We are definitely not alone in feeling this same syndrome or the effects of IS. Now, of course, imposter syndrome is not a recognized mental disorder. You can't treat it with medication, but you can give your imposter less space and focus more on what you're doing rather than on what you think people are thinking about you. You can't do anything about what they're saying about you, but really, who gives a fuck what they're saying about you, right? What matters is how you focus and improve on what you do without letting that saboteur or imposter in to destroy everything you're building. In his book, Life Coaching Approach to Screen Acting, Dresner advises the following steps for killing the imposter. Associate with your successes and strengths rather than fears and doubts. Make a list of the things that you do well, big or small, whether it's whistling, accents, horse riding, or cooking. That's not one of the things that would go on my list. Then list 50 achievements that you have made in the last 2 months, which can range from getting out of bed on time to being cast in a project. Read over these lists and notice how, when you leave your saboteur at the door, they aid what is commonly referred to as your confidence. Reread your lists before you go into auditions, on set, or just for the hell of it. Listen out for imposter thoughts and comments and note them down, then destroy the list if you wish. So, there you go. I hope this has been useful for you, and I always love to read your comments, so please leave them below. Next Friday, as I said, I'll be talking about perfectionism. Till then, goodbye, stay safe, and wear a mask.